We know it won't be easy to hold that trophy, to wear that crown, but if you want it, come and get it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the playoffs presented by Xfinity, here live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. My name is Sendler, with me is Hex, and we'll be getting into the quarterfinals. Hex, it's happening.
Great play-ins, great quarterfinals as well, and now we're getting into it. Great games yesterday. This is really not disappointed in our new playoff format. We have winners brackets, lower brackets. We have so many good games to get to, but this is one that you and I personally been looking forward to because their last year records were so interesting. London versus New York. Let's go. That'll be our game today. We also have another one a little bit later that should be very entertaining in the San Francisco Shock versus the Atlanta Reign.
Versus the Atlanta Reign. So much talent on that team, all coming together right here at the very end when it all matters most. It's going to be cool to see whether the Shock, have to fight for it or not.
I think a lot of people would have the Shock, but Atlanta definitely with that upset potential. Now, this particular matchup is ultra interesting because London, not really that great in the regular season.
No.
But then they always show up in playoffs. Are returning 2018 Overwatch League champions, by the way, the London Spitfire.
Yes, they've done this to us before, Hex. That's the point you're making.
New York is the other side of the story, regular season champions, and then they get bounced in first round of the playoffs, and all of our analysts have picked that New York will get bounced as quickly as humanly possible here. London has all the talent in the world, which is why even when they lose matches during the regular season, we never count them out. Guys like Prophet, Birdring has had good games, that tank line is sick, the back line gets overlooked on this team, but still all-star style players. This London team could give New York everything they could handle today.
Yeah, Doshin right there. You had him on your screen at the end. But this is Fury after his comments. After the win versus the Dragons, he says he doesn't want to count his chickens before they hatch. Always a good idea. But nevertheless, maybe they'll get the job done. It's too much to read.
Yeah.
You guys can read it. I'm not going to read it out for you.
The gist of it is, the TLDR of it is that they think that we can maybe do just what we did last year, where they came in really loose into the playoffs and then they kind of just let it all hang out, let it fly. And they flew it all the way to a banner, which hangs right here in the arena.
You and I had a most awkward weekend, actually, because we got flown out to New York just to handle the New York event.
Yeah.
And we all expected New York to do really well, and then New York went out, and it was just a very awkward event after all.
Yeah.
I can see a repeat happening of that this time around,
Right.
X, because I don't think that New York is strong. If you've been watching our talk show that happens weekly, you would definitely be aware of that. Not the biggest fan of New York here, but I still think they're a top-tier team. It's just that they always seem to just not quite hit the level we expect.
The question is, are they really a top-tier team? Because let's take a look at their strength of schedule here. Now, this is their strength of schedule this season. Where's New York? Where's New York? At 20! They had the easiest strength of schedule in the entire league. Dallas, on the other end, brutal strength of schedule. But I mean, New York just beat up on teams. And look, it's not always their fault. You can only beat the teams in front of you. Yep. They're in a weaker division.
They are as well. That's a good point to make.
Right, but their strength of schedule, the easiest schedule they had in the league.
I mean, you still had desperately good players on this team. Jonak MVP from last year. He's got a skin in the game, Hex. He dominated out and out, which is what has got me on edge here going into this year, is whether we're going to see that level from New York again or not.
Right, and then one of the questions is, what's New York going to play? Well, I mean, we are in a brand new meta here. We're in the playoff meta, and it's been firmly established that Sigma has to be played almost 100% of the time. You're going to need a Doomfist, and who's going to play that for New York? London has done some interesting things with their main tank, off tank switching up a little bit, where Jester will play some of the Sigma. You've got Mano and Meko on this New York team, who you always consider as one of the top tier tank lines in the league. Who's going to be playing what for those guys?
That's always going to be the question. We're not going to have to wait long, Hex. We're not going to wait long at all, in fact. We're going to start getting our first team out onto the stage. So let's make some noise for the London Spitfire.
Bringing the theme, bringing the noise today, your returning 2018 Overwatch League champions, the London Spitfire. And this is why it's a dangerous team. When they get going, they get on a run, they can really tear it up. They went to map 8 against Shanghai. Shanghai gave them everything they had, but London also considers Shanghai probably one of the better teams they've scrimmed against lately. They think the rest of the pool of our playoff teams is a little bit weaker. Interesting that Quatermain will be in today on the support line. Guard also taking up that role over Birdring, who's been rather inconsistent while throughout his Overwatch League career. But then you've got old standbys, Prophet, Gesture, and Fury.
Can always count on that trio, Prophet in particular. You never catch that man sleeping. He's always out to make a dime. But now we're going to go ahead and get their opponents out onto the stage. Let's welcome the NYXL.
A lot of questions about what roster New York wants to run out. They made moves in the offseason to add depth to this roster, adding players like Flower, players like Nene, who could step into that damage role for this squad. Let's see what their starting six looks like. It's going to be Sabiobi, the captain, the old standby, the veteran, mixed with the brand new youth of Flower, Mano and Meko, of course. Jonak, your returning MVP, though just unseated by a fellow named Sinatra. And Animo will be joining him in the support line.
Exactly. Glad to see a little bit more Flower in a way, because it seems like they really are putting some faith in him, and that it's been confidence that's been plaguing them all along. Really curious to see, because that's kind of what last time we casted their game, we were just like, why are you putting in Flower? What's this about? Now Flower's actually getting some play time when it matters most.
And he's played a lot better. Gesture and Mono will be the alleged main tanks on this squad, but with Sigma in the meta, you never know where they're going to stand. This is their all-time ranks on every single hero here. Very good tanks. You can see the main tank roles, the damage block. Gesture, a bit of more of a playmaker. A lot of that could be just from the dive meta because he was
season this year. But now we're going to take a look at our maps. Different format here from regular season. It's going to be first to 4, so we'll have quite a few maps possible here. Could be a 4-0, could be like any other day in the league, Hex, or we could be going the distance again, getting there.
I'm predicting a map 10. We're going to map 10 today. Just draws all day, and we're going to be here for 4 hours, so get yourself a snack. We've got excellent Overwatch incoming. We're going to kick it off on Busan, which London has to be pretty happy about here because they don't want to go to Ilios. Ilios has been a bad map for them. Actually, yeah. Spitfire 5-2, New York 4-3, rather evenly matched. We're going to kick it off here on Busan. Now let's see what these heroes, what these players are going to play hero-wise.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Hex, there is a viewing party going down in New York right now to watch this match. So shout out to everybody who showed up there.
Right in Times Square.
Let's get it. And what we'll see, are New York going to show up today for those fans who are tuning in? Or is it going to be New York? Straight in, no hesitation on both teams here, and this is going to be the casual meta that we're going to be looking at. Just dive in, dive out. That's the mobility that Doomfist affords you. If you can find a pick, fantastic. If you can't, you got to get out of dodge. And right now, New York are getting sent back to spawn. Flower trying to do the best he could there, but he just couldn't quite find the opening.
That's going to be the order you're going to see the kill feed in a lot today, where you get a Doomfist who gets the initial pick. The rest of the team tries to retreat, but they're retreating into the Reaper, which is already positioned behind them with either a Shadow Step or a Wraith Walk, usually a Shadow Step, and then he gets the cleanup. Hammer, Anvil, get it done right away. So interesting that London is going back to Fury on the main tank position in Orisa, and Gesture will be on the Sigma. Nothing really changed for New York. Already a huge kill. You can't win. You really can't win a fight or try to bring it back without your Doomfist. It's very difficult.
It's so difficult because it's still so difficult to find kills right now in this meta. You have so many shields all over the place that you have to work your way through. So much support for these heroes as well. So you need the explosiveness of the Doomfist to just pace somebody up against the wall and to soften them up, let the Reaper move in and start getting some damage in as well, close quarters. So Guard using the Meteor Strike to get out of dodge himself. But Flower is going to open things up here for Nuyuk. Nice! Gravitic Flux thrown in here by Gesture. Maybe enough to turn it around if he can get the kill on Jonak. This could be big!
Still back and forth right now. New York is still in it. They've got the player advantage, 4v2 on the point. Actually, 4v1. It is just Gesture. He will be cleaned up in short notice, and New York will finally put some percentage on the board. There's so many small things to watch in this meta right now, but one of the most important abilities, just basic abilities, is going to be the halt from Orisa. You saw it there to set up the Graviton Flux. I'm just going to call it Flux from now on.
Yeah, Flux. It's a bit of a mouthful.
You see it setting up a lot of different plays. You see it set up just a Doomfist punch. So halt, a very important ability.
New York fighting back. Just keeping an eye on the players as well on the stage. We have them here in front of us, and there's a lot of talking going on New York. I like that. Given that this is the first map, you want to see the communication flowing on the team. You want to see it, especially since they didn't get first control. So showing some poise here, New York XL, going into this all-important match. So 54% on the board for London Spitfire, and the New York XL continue to close the gap. Meteor Strike used aggressively here from Flower, and Sabiobi comboing with it. It's going to be enough. Prophet trying to turn it around, but only 2 alive left here for the London Spitfire, and it won't be for long.
I love the positioning of that. He goes on the back end of the stairs, so they have to make a decision. Do I fall back and maybe die to this Meteor Strike, or would I go forward into the Death Blossom that's been preemptively set up by Sabiobi? New York did have to commit several deal of ultimates into that fight. However, London's cupboard is bare as well.
Yeah, very cool to see here from New York. Some real fight, and they've taken the lead on the first point here of Busan, 66 and going. Now, as soon as London Spitfire tries to commit, it's going to be answered with a hail of bullets. Point blank, Mono just trying to feed him that gun. but he's got the bongos down as well. So just terrific damage getting used, and a very quick fight here for London. I like to see that. Once you're in, and you know it's not going your way, die quick so you can get back to spawn and regroup with the rest of your team.
Well, they got Badoshan first with the accretion ability, also called Rock. That's how, you know, a little easier to say than accretion on the fly, but that's big because now Badoshan doesn't get to do any healing during that fight, and he's way behind the Coalescence that Jonak has. Coalescence also goes through barrier, so when you're in an Agents of Shield meta, you need that Coalescence.
You gotta be able to cut through him. Guard, doing the best he can to get onto the point. He's not going to survive it. Picked by Meko in the end. SBB just pumping bird shot into him. Is it bird shot or a buckshot? Is it one bird shot and then a buckshot and the bird shot and a buckshot and a buckshot and a buckshot? I think that's how it goes, right, Hex?
Something like that. Sticks and stones, my friend. NYXL, after getting rocked and giving up about 54% early on, it looked like they had nothing going for them. It was 7-0 eliminations at one point in time. But they're able to bring it back and then just hold very strong, a good economic use of their ultimates. And again, towards the end, when one team has Coalescence, the other doesn't, you're putting yourself behind the 8-ball there. Very difficult for London to come back in that situation, especially with all those chokes and corridors. Speaking of chokes and corridors, we will be moving on to the second round here of Busan. Mecha Base.
Mecha Base, you can see walls coming up, mechs under construction, and all these guys are just gonna come in here and interrupt a productive workday.
Yeah,
it's just for shame. What are they doing? What is there to fight over?
The state's going to be upset.
They've already got Divas back to be crying out loud. Just take Arissa apart for parts if you need it. All right, NYXL. It's just a straight up fight, and Guard once again will start it off with a kill on SBB, who just was a second too late there. Wrong place, wrong time, and Guard is going on a spree. When you get the Doomfist feeling himself, man, he is going to roll right on through.
Yeah, Guard has kind of been the London specialist. Whatever they need a hero to enter a new meta, I think it's Guard who's usually sitting in the lab all day when he's not getting the playing time, figuring out, oh, this is the hero we're going to need. I got it. I will be the guy who comes in on that. And that's why you're not seeing Birdring, especially right now. But Birdring more of a hit scan specialist. Exactly. Not exactly the greatest hit scan meta.
Too many shields. Too many barriers. Oh,
great
a pick on Guard, though.
Great opening.
That was probably a halt combo, it looked like, but that's the perfect opening here for NYXL. Don't kill yourself there, Flower. Get a bit excited.
Got a lot of mobility. No worries. Just living on the edge, quite literally.
Not right now, just looking to capitalize on this. London Spitfire still in control, and we get the Flux thrown in. No kill off the back of it, though. The support is solid here on the side of NYXL. They're able to weather the storm, and that opens it up here. Mono now takes down Fury. No barrier, or one of the barriers at least, gone here for London Spitfire, and it's going to spin out of control just like that. The NYXL beating up on London will get that flip.
BOB had some people isolated, so they decided to commit the beat, and it's not that big of a deal because beat is generally the counter to the grab flux right now. Because grab flux, it works very strangely. It makes this invisible floor. You can still beat while you're in flux. So usually the Lucios want to hold it for when their team gets grab fluxed. That grab flux got nothing done, so it's oh, free beat. We'll just use it to absolutely win the fight. New York's able to flip it back, 15% and counting up after London took first control. But New York's got great ultimates online.
Yeah, and you can see at the flux there, drops him in immediately, and that's right off of the sound barrier as well. So frustrating for London Spitfire. He was at 98% when he died. Might have been able to make all the difference had they had that ultimate in this fight. Instead, they're trying to plow on through London, putting up a more of a fight, and New York are the ones who are making mistakes now.
Yeah, early Coalescence answered by a better and later Coalescence. The Blossom doesn't always find value. Yesterday was a bit of an anomaly in that area, but London will use that Blossom to secure the fight.
Sick work from London.
New York's just trying to stall for percentage.
Yep. And they will get caught, and they will... Nope, never mind. SBB shows up. Hey, guys, how's it going? He's dead. Gesture didn't like that. And so 51% is where it ends for the NYXL, 46 for London Spitfire, and climbing. And now, I mean, it's always been touch and go for London on this map type in particular, and it's a shame that it always starts on this one because it kind of gives you a weird read on London. Are they feeling it? Are they not? But when it comes to control, London, this isn't exactly a home map for them. Still, New York, it's going to be Flower to kick things off. Gesture has to turn it around, has to find some value, but he dodges the damage. Quick work there from Jonak, getting out of harm's way, and that opens it up for SBB to gut Gesture. Right on back into the thick of things now, and the London Spitfire are dropping. NYXL will not let him go any further than that.
It's a disaster, too. They committed beat to that fight. Quatermain dropped the sound barrier, unable to get the fight win, and now they're not going to have it, whereas Animo is getting up to his sound barrier. Pretty empty on both sides here. Coalescence will be earned by Badoshan, but Jonak's got one to match. And this one is about as even as it gets. About 80% for London means they're probably a single fight win away.
And JoeNike is going to be the one to kick it off. Do they get a kill quick here for this Notion? No. He will have the coalesce of his own. He will counter out the damage that JoeNike is dealing. But you just can't handle it when Flower's there. That's the explosive potential of a Doomfist. You can just blow you up at a moment's notice. And NYXL very comfortably in the lead. Who was that drawing the point? Oh, it looked like it was Gesture, but
this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. I wonder if Gesture even switches to Ball. I don't know who they have out here who can touch, but it seems like they are going to stick. No, he does switch to the Hammond here just to get back, just to get on point, and that puts you way behind in these barrier battles.
It's just one less place to hide behind here. Now you're really going to be counting on Fury to provide protection. Flower trying to zone Fury out, and that leaves Quartermain vulnerable, and the pressure on Fury is just too much. Flower solos him. That's it. Done. No tank left here for London. It's looking fantastic for the NYXL. It's looking like they'll pick up the first map of the series.
The moment they noticed that there wasn't going to be a Sigma on the field and tracking ults as well, they dropped the barrier to make sure that everybody has extra health. They go, they take the fight to them, and NYXL takes map 1, perhaps silencing the doubters a little bit, but historically, London's not been good on control maps.
Truth. And that's what I was touching on in that map, right? It's tough to get a read on London, and we'll see how they fare on this second map of the series right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Cease your resistance.
that's exactly what the New York XL did. When he jumped off the train, that was London, you know, under him on that first map. It was brutal, Hex. A total one-sided affair there to kick things off on Busan.
Yeah, London had its moments, but it was NYXL really getting into it and getting the early picks that they needed. I think just better overall Lucio play, some better barrier usage. The fluxes were coming out, but they weren't getting enough done. That led Animo to just use his barrier whenever he wanted. Late in Mecha base, London had to switch off of the Sigma, so it's like, okay, cool, free beat, here we go, let's lock it up, and just nice play. And I think a lot of people are a little bit surprised by NYXL's result.
Now, before we get ahead of ourselves here, let's keep in mind, London, Control, the two will never
they're not
they
friends.
will never be happy together. We did get one substitution here. Libero will be subbing in for Flower. Doesn't really come as a shocker. Libero is such a powerful player in his own right, so we could potentially see more of that. But, you know, just glad to see Libero on the stage here for New York.
Yeah, one of the most versatile players in the entire league. He was a big reason why they were so dominant in the 2018 season. Libero is very consistent. He's always coming in. He can play a ton of different heroes, and it just makes me wonder what map we're going towards, because generally you play the meta on a lot of these different maps. There's a couple outliers, though. It is going to be London's pick for the map. Our format here is first to four, but loser gets to pick map.
Exactly. So there's a little bit of a way to turn things around back in your favor here if you're London. And they've elected to go to Numbani, Hank. So, okay, Numbani, a fun map all in all. We get to see a whole lot on it.
Yeah, you can kind of throw the specific meta out the window sometimes on Numbani, and we saw some Bastion play yesterday, Bastion and Symmetra kind of going back and forth. You see Pharah a lot on this map. Perhaps that's why Libero is coming in.
I'm all about that.
Libero's an excellent Pharah player. Prophet, no slouch on Pharah himself. Well, no slouch on really any hero is Prophet right there. So I think the substitution really has a lot to do with the fact that they are going to Numbani, and they very likely have a specific strategy in mind. Again, New York didn't pick the map, but you do get to make your sub. So that's likely why Libero's coming in.
This is why I was wondering as well, though, for London, if we would see some birdring play as well here. I mean, possible to play Hitscan on this map. I mean, we've seen it in the past.
Yeah.
It's a little bit all over the place, but
I think at some point it's going to be more, maybe on like Lijiang Tower. Like the only person we've seen play Hitscan pretty consistently is Fleta, and Fleta's been doing a lot on the McCree. So if you want to blind pick against somebody, if you want to blind pick against a Pharah, then you would maybe run Bird Ring so that he can just play McCree, but then you're stuck on it. So, I mean, you would rather have a more versatile player.
woe is me, we're stuck on McCree.
Yeah, well, I know. You have an affinity for the cowboy here. Very similar records here on Numbani, our hybrid map. Capture the point, push the cart. It's as simple as it gets. And I really am curious what the offense wants to roll out. Defensively, NYXL not doing anything really out of the ordinary. Libero on the Mei.
Yeah, that is a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah, we've seen much less Mei. She still has her places in the meta. And if they believe that London's going to come up the stairs, well, putting a wall behind half the team's a really good way to squash a fight.
We've really seen teams struggle with this strategy on defense, or against this strategy, rather. On defense, Numbani, you get that Mei up there. It's so tough to take control of that high ground, which is kind of what you want to do on the offense. Yeah. But we will have Prophet and Quartermain working together as a duo. We will get that Pharah Mercy open for business, and the other four should be working together, except that Fury can have that mobility that the hamster affords him.
Yeah, so try to put some pressure up here because you know you're not going to win the shield battle against this. So you get your hamster around, you maybe get something going. Actually, Fury going to switch now.
Yeah.
All said and done.
Man, look at the frustration here from Prophet as well. That's just so insanely frustrating. There's just a barrier that just keeps appearing in front of your rockets. You can't even do anything if you're Pharah.
And that's just one of the many aspects of Sigma's kit, which is so well-rounded, so versatile as that tank line. He's got a ton of health, does a ton of damage, he's got a stun, he's got a shield, he's got everything you'd want.
Barrier when he wants it. Oh, and also he absorbs damage to build that barrier,
yep.
So it's just...
He's got a matrix and a stun and a shield that is more versatile than anyone else's shields.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to really see 100% Sigma pretty much. But, I mean, as far as London are concerned, it looks like they're going to stick to their rockets. At least Prophet's going to be staying on that Pharah for now and guard. He still has the opportunity to jump over here and get aggressive.
Prophet's in a good spot. He's behind them. He's on the far angle here.
Oh, look for the pick. A second too late. A second too late in terms of the positioning there for guard, and he gets caught by Libero. Nice wall there to punish as well, so really no way out. But now you've kind of cut this team in half. Quartermain and Prophet off on a mission on their own around the bend.
Yeah, they're very, very far behind. They're trying to find a very far angle here, maybe looking for a concussion blast.
Oh, I like this. I like this. That makes things interesting. If he can potentially concuss somebody off the side, maybe he's going to be able to force them to pay attention to 2 angles at once, but that's why they have 2 shields. Hex still, Guard is going to find the kill.
That's amazing. He gets both of the damage dealers for NYXL. This fight, for all intents and purposes, is over. Say POVs going to switch out of the McCree. You have to. You have to respect it.
Sick work.
Although London might just switch off of this far now.
They might.
It's possible.
You've got the barrage. I mean, maybe you can still use it in streets, but it's awkward.
I mean, Barrage you can use a little bit better now because you're not going to have the Diva, so you can live in the Matrix and get Barrage, but you can get a shield in front, you can get Nano Boost, and Barrage could find some value, but they might be swapping. They are swapping.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Anti-dive with the Batiste moving in here. He'll have the Lantern to keep Prophet alive and to help out. And now, yeah, you got beautiful sunny skies, a light breeze.
Well, I mean, and now it's a great counter because what's Sapiobi going to do against this?
Not a whole lot, Hex. And, well, you're going to have these shields, but shields, as we all know, do not last long against Bastion.
Sapiobi just gets Bedosian.
Okay, then. SBB moving in, making plays, and we got Quartermain. Comes with one of his own as well. Libero just goes chunking right on through, and that is exactly not how things are supposed to go for Spitfire.
It's a perfect way to deal with it, though. The last thing you want to do against this composition is sit back and try to sit behind your barriers and look for picks. You got to get on it. They rushed the cart. They got on it. I reverse curse Sapiobi because I like him so much. He's going to go over to the Reaper now, though.
And Prophet's no longer on the Bastion either, because once you need to get set up, once the pirate ship gets sunk, it's so hard to dredge it up and get it out of there again. Now we're going to get a boosted Guard. He's going in, trying to just cause chaos, but it's not working versus the NYXL. The NYXL pummeling the London Spitfire here.
A great accretion there from Meko. Just chucked the rock at him, a little bit of a stun. Slows down one of the most unstoppable combinations of the game. And it's just a single ultimate, but it's on the Doomfist. Doomfist getting nanoed is very difficult to kill unless you have that CC, unless you connect with it. Stuns, crowd control worked out very well there for the NYXL defense.
Yep, there it is. Jester's going to use it. That was solid, but then the sound barrier's there to mitigate the damage. With the barrier, that means that NYXL will survive the pressure here for now, at least. Mono dropping low, Meko as well, seeing some pressure given. But Jester still trying to make the plays here for his team. Doesn't connect a rock with face, unfortunately for him, and now it's the London Spitfire a little bit on the back foot, despite the fact that they have a supercharger.
Trying to push around the corner here. There's a big flank here from Prophet. Gets Mono. Huge.
Mono gone, but Jester instantly traded. Jester's going to spawn right there, though, so you're right. The Orisa going down is going to make it difficult for New York. Does Prophet get the res off? He does not. Libero ejects him.
Tried to get the teleport back onto safe ground. Not going to happen there. London's still making some slow push here. The Coalescence going to help out a ton.
This is going to keep everybody high and healthy. And well, as far as New York are concerned, they're just trying to dodge it, trying to play with the angles. Solid work here from London Spitfire. They are capitalizing on this, and they are going to force the NYXL to reset, send them back to spawn. Mono trying to run his way out of harm's way, but that's just not going to happen. And SBB gone.
Bedosian getting very aggressive now, just trying to charge up that ultimate, and they've got, well, a dead to rights Orisa there, as Guard will steal the kill finally, because Guard actually does damage.
Wow, they are going to get a free second point off of all these staggers.
Yeah. New York was never able to reset properly. They tried to reset with 3 people in the back corner around the first band. They got caught out there. London's doing a great job of being aggressive and punishing New York.
Yeah, New York maybe got a bit too big for their britches there. But they're going to get some ults online now. And Jonak with the Coalescence. Yep. Going to throw it out there immediately. Sound barrier used by Quartermain. That's going to open it up here for Meko. If he wants, he can get the flux down, and that is really going to make it difficult here for the Spitfire to live through that damage. And sure enough, he manages to snag one, going to splatter Guard, or Guard gets picked, and then Jester finds the next. So this is going to be the London Spitfire getting rebuffed.
Some good trades, but of note, NYXL had to use their flux there. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Jester has his flux, and Animo nowhere near that sound barrier. This could be time to get a giant flux in. There's nothing to counter it. NYXL doesn't really have much to use. The supercharger may hold London back a little bit.
Somebody's been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. Whoever designed that skin. You know, it's just shoulder pads, man. What is he, an orc? Or a Tauren?
Is that the game they crafted after Hearthstone?
After Hearthstone. Get out of here, heathen. All right. SBB and Prophet trading kills, one for the other. SBB, though, going to come out ahead with the help of the Blossom. And he's still going to work toe-to-toe right now with Prophet. He wins out. But the Spitfire still hanging around, 3 alive on this point. We've lost SBB, but there are 3 here for the NYXL, and it is going to be tough for them to find kills, especially if Jonak decides now's the time to use the Coalescence.
They just don't want to give up much more ground here. They want to hold right around this corner and want to make sure that they don't lose this fight outright. There's a flank as well from Sabiobi, forces out the Moira in that instance.
Now they're getting all gathered up together, and it's the London Spitfire. No shot there for Libero, but he's got the Meteor Strike. Going to clear the point. No problem there. Forces the... Yep. Just use it as a zoning ult. Now the valuable time gets wasted there for London, and they have to regroup and recommit. Prophet on a flank right now, though. He's going to be into the back line, just trying to gun him down. Sound Barrier's going to cut in the nick of time from Animo to keep the NYXL alive in this. And Jester nowhere near the flux.
You would like to get some kills off of this Sound Barrier usage.
Oh, Prophet. There it is. The value. Exactly what London needed right when they needed it most. We're down to 35 seconds on the clock. They're going for the home stretch now. 3rd point right ahead of them there, already setting up the barrier.
Jonak should be able to get his Coalescence, and another big flank from Sabiobi trying to get something done. He gets punished.
Oh, he gets blinked before, and now do they have anybody to challenge? Jonak has to go in. 3 alive here for the NYXL, but there isn't a whole lot to do, and they cannot get bodies to actually block the point. No challenge. 3 points picked up for the London Spitfire with 18 seconds left on the clock.
It's an enormous priority target in this meta right now to be able to kill the Moira. One of the better heroes on the support line that can escape almost anything, but with the burst damage and instant kill of a Doomfist potential, that's the top target. They got it at the end. Second half of Numbani after this.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes. Cola bottles.
Never die.
Oh, yeah! I am with you.
EMP activated.
Incoming!
You can't catch me.
Glorious.
There you have it. The London Spitfire, they get the job done. They pick a 3 points on the offense. They pick up 3 points on the offense on Numbani. The music gave it away, Hex. But there it is, the man in question. Prophet coming up with the big plays at the end that made all the difference for his team.
Yeah, what can't Prophet play? Spoiler, not much.
Not much.
Started off on the Pharah, didn't have great success there. They made some moves, and then they switched some heroes, but really he's picked up the Reaper. I mean, might as well pick up the Reaper. Had a huge Death Blossom at the end, really closed out the final point for him. So Prophet is a guy that we always talk about. He is your 2018 Finals MVP, the MVP of the London Spitfire Championship run.
He'd probably be one of those really annoying friends, you know, who can just pick up any game and just dominate at it right off the bat, and you're just there grinding away, trying to get good. And he's like, oh, cool, what's this about? Oh, you do this, you click on heads? Oh, man, that's awesome. You know,
And then you just don't play games with him anymore.
Don't play games with him anymore.
Or you give him
players like that.
Or you give him the bad controller.
There's a few players like that throughout the history of esports, you know.
Well, we do have a skin to commemorate our 2018 final champion. London Spitfire, the legendary skin for Winston, is beautiful. It is available only to September 16th, so don't be like me and forget that you have to buy it at a certain window. Get on your Overwatch clients and get that skin.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what drives me up the wall every time. I'm like, oh man, that skin is cool.
I know.
Wait until Halloween next year to get it. Man. Oh, surprise Bastion. I like this play here from NYXL. You got Libero, who's going to be up there with the Rockets, and then you got a Bastion to worry about on the front line. Going to be a bit of a spicy high ground here for the London Spitfire to hold on to. That is, unless we do have Prophet just connecting Rockets directly. That's going to put Libero under pressure, and Libero just eating Rockets right now, left and right.
There's a huge anti-nade, but everyone heals up right now, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a lot of pressure here to put London exactly in this corner so that Libero can nail Rockets, but it's a really nice air battle in the sky from Prophet. He's keeping Libero at bay.
Man, how frustrating is this right now, though, if you're just trying to keep these shields up on the defense? You got nowhere to go. SBB's just going to be melting them, and he's doing exactly that. It's putting Gesture in a bit of a tight spot up here. But at some point, the NYXL are going to have to go, and it looks like now's the time. They've decided. SBB, out in the open, can spot him exactly. Quartermain dies instantly. SBB going to go ahead and gun down guard as well. And, well, sure, okay, Prophet, you can lob rockets at me. That's fine. I'm just going to get a whole bunch of ult charge off of that. No problem at all.
It's got to be a little bit careful. SBB wants to rotate around and take away the high ground, but this fight is already going in on NYXL's favor. However, Prophet has found... Oh, Prophet had Batiste dead to rights, and he gets an assist from Meko on the ground to save his life.
That was clean, Hex. That was very clean on the way.
Took them a second. They waited till they had the positioning to kind of skirt forward up the stairs, get the angle for SBB onto the Bastion. We'll see if any changes come in, or if they're just going to rock the pirate ship here.
I just had this image, you know, Gesture's just trying to chuck that rock up there. If there was a voice line, it's just yeet. Every time he throws that rock.
I love that ability. It is the most entertaining ability to watch in the whole game. This brilliant physicist uses his powers to curl rocks to
throw a rock at you. Hey, rocks hurt. Rocks hurt. Just ask Goliath. Hey, Gesture gets blown out by Libero. There's the barrage, a double from on high. Libero with the clever plays and the clever positioning. It pays off wonderfully, and the London Spitfire are not going to be able to do what the NYXL did on the defense. They are not going to be able to waste New York's time over here by the spawn.
So the NYXL running this composition knows that London's only option is to just heave every body they have at the thing and then focus down the mortality field, try to get some kills in the cart, and then they just put a position right there of, yeah, you can come at us. They take a step back, and then Libero rains death from above, picks up a couple. This should be enough time for London to reset, though, unlike NYXL's defense, where this point was essentially free.
And they go rolling right on through. There's Fury. Fury gets blown up immediately. What a shocker. Libero's there as well. Totally one-sided, absolute, utter destruction here. The NYXL are just pasting the London Spitfire. And that's a second point so quick here from the NYXL. So much time to work with now to pick up 3 points. And SBB, he doesn't even have to go to tank mode. He's just chilling out in turret.
I don't think tank mode is a very good ultimate, to be dead honest. I think if you're in turret and you're getting all the protection and healing in the world, just stay in turret. What more do you need? It's not like your damage output is lacking. Tank mode's flashy and it can be fun, but I think he's making the right choice here. Amp Matrix out.
Oh, yeah. And now we're going to get the window pane going in as well. That's what it is. Just melts him. Prophet finally able to remove it, but you've still got Jonak and Mono and everybody else here for the NYXL who are just more than happy to do damage.
You can also resurrect this, too. They do have Animo. Animo's going to bring back Jonak instead.
Interesting. But now without SBB there is a moment of vulnerability here for the New York pirate ship. They need to get the cannons reloaded.
But I think this is so that the Pharaoh Mercy can go right above spawn, and then they can keep a support on the cart with the tanks.
Yeah. And you'll have the Lantern now as well for this following push, because London Spitfire aren't going to wait around for long. They are going to get in here and try and look for the fight. So, point blank, barrage, yep, Libero, instant gut on 1, 2, looking for a third. Not quite going to find it, but he did his job. Now for the rest of the team, Soundbarrier thrown in here by Quartermain, just trying to keep his team alive. They're getting desperate. There's the tank mode, and there are the shots connecting Rockets with faces. SBB just going to barrel on through. No worries here for the New York XL. They're looking fantastic on the offense of Numbani.
About as one-sided as it gets, and that is an ambitious strike from guard. NYXL finishes with 4:05 in their bank. Only a minute for London, so we're going to do Numbani again.
Wow, what fantastic work here from New York XL, looking like a totally revitalized team. Going into the playoffs, Hex, they are looking the right to the wrong of last year. They're looking to turn it all around. We're taking a break and we'll be right back and see how this all plays out on Numbani. Turbulence here, Hex. London Spitfire have. That was a blindingly fast take for the New York XL to pick up 3 points and tie it up. 4 seconds left in the bank for New York XL on their offense. London Spitfire, they've got a minute to crack the first point of Numbani. That's not easy.
It's essentially one push. Or you come rip-roaring in, you use the boost right out the gate to try to get somebody in there, and then you try to reset. But it is a long walk of unused map space to get to where you actually fight on Numbani. That bus broke down on its way there. That one's still working on it.
Well, yeah, they've got no wheels. Obviously, those buses aren't going anywhere.
That's not how it works.
Or just to greet them, Jonak. Tickling away, and this is going straight on in. Chester trying to get in here to absorb some damage, but that is just not happening. He's getting frozen, and they are getting sent back to spawn. In a way, this is playing out the way you predicted it, though, Hex. Get in there, take a fight fast. If it doesn't go your way, you'll get a second bite.
Oh! Doshin goes down late. That's better than Quarterman going down, because now you don't want to wait for your Lucio to respawn and be the last respawner. You need this speed to get back in here, and that worked out perfectly for NYXL. It's going to be a rough fight here early for London to try to get on the point.
They got to run straight up Main Street, it looks like. Let's go, boys. Let's get onto it. And
walled off.
Managed to touch it in the middle in the second, but it is Gesture cut off from the rest of his team. Frozen. Coalescence used here by Jonak as well. He's going to be keeping everybody healthy on the side of New York XL, or at least he's trying to. Profit guns down Mono and a hail of buckshot, it looked like. But the London Spitfire is just not enough here for them. Profit doing the best he can to fight back. He is the man making it happen for the London Spitfire, but that's where his road ends. He's sent back to spawn. Doshin's gonna die here as well, certainly. Oh, he barely gets out. Saved in the nick of time. Great support there from the back line of London, keeping their healers up, but there isn't a whole lot left here. Blizzard now thrown in by Libero. Soundbarrier used by New York XL, and it is going to be the New York XL cleaning up this push.
You would think. I mean, Badoshin staying alive against all odds. They're trying to get kills in here. Doomfist can roll through a team. Not gonna happen this time, though. NYXL guarantees they will not lose Numbani. The worst case scenario, it's a draw, and they have 4:05 to put some percentage on that point.
And we've seen a real shift here in terms of who's getting kills on this map so far. 65 for New York XL, 31 for London Spitfire. London Spitfire, they're getting in there. They're just not capitalizing. They're just not finding the damage.
Yeah.
Both of the damage dealers for New York XL are just outright dominating. They've nearly got 20 final blows each.
It just seems like NYXL is prepared for this. The coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. All of the staff deserves a ton of credit to be able to get these concepts going in, because they didn't pick Numbani, but they have a plan, very obviously. The offensive, definitely a plan. Running the May here has worked out brilliantly for them. They're picking off guard. They're cutting the team off.
This is what can happen when you get map pick wins. You know what I mean? Oh, they think hold on, they're going to not pick Eichenwald because they see that our record is really good on Eichenwald, so they're probably going to go for Numbani. So let's go ahead and prep Numbani. And then it all works out according to plan. The New York XL coaches, 4D chess over there. They're figuring it all out, Hex.
8D underwater basket weaving.
London Spitfire, they're calling out, support me. I can't shake them. They're on my tail.
All right, 4:05 on the clock. That should be 4 decent pushes, or if it's a prolonged fight, perhaps only 3 for NYXL. Still better than what London was working with. All New York has to do is put 33% on this point, and they will go into our halftime 2-0.
2-0. looking so good, and that will really set the tone here. But we have seen this trend as well. I'm sure the coaches right now are chomping at the bit for London. Usually we see teams go into that halftime, the coaches get to interact with the players, and then it comes out totally differently on that third map of the series.
We're going to see the exact same setup from the New York offense. They're going to try to win the dogfight in the sky, Fair Mercy versus Fair Mercy, and then get their Bastion in position on high ground.
Yep, melt the shields, get a little bit, just a game of steps here. You move a little bit forward each time. Now there's another shield to delete, and it's not going to last for long. SVP, as long as he stays alive. Great timing with the Lantern there from Jonak, keeping him healthy. And this is looking really good now for the New York XL. Guard gone means that explosive damage is no longer there for the London Spitfire, but Gesture still manages to take SBB.
It's a huge stun. They're trying to get in position to resurrect this. They do get up top. They get the res on.
They get the res off. Meko, Mono, Animal working together, and that is SBB back in the mix. Gesture not expected to go down in a hail of bullets. It is a painful experience for him. And now they're just trying to stall out on the side of London, but it will not be for long. And the New York XL will extend their lead by a map 2-0, totally crushing the London Spitfire on Numbani.
London's map pick was Numbani. New York was prepared. They had set strategies and executed perfectly. Brought in Libero to be the ace in the sky. Say POV moved to Bastion. New York, to the surprise of everyone, 2-0 going into halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X5 gives you the speed you need to game like a pro.
Welcome to Halftime, presented by Cheesy Grooves. Malik here. We got Zoe, Brent, and Sideshow in the building as well. And currently, the NYXL are up 2-0 over the London Spitfire. None of us predicted that to happen today. You guys surprised? Shocked at all?
He won. I wanted it to happen. I wanted New York to look competitive. They're looking more than competitive. They're looking dominant.
Yeah, you're right about that. Well, let's go ahead and jump straight into the highlights. Starting off with Busan. We got to see SBB and Flower together, the DPS duo doing their thing. I'm not going to be honest with you guys. This is the dream DPS duo that I wanted to see last year. So it's so fun to see them here in the playoffs for the first time.
It really is. And yeah, as Sideshow said in the pre-show, Sepulve's Reaper, it's not out of his wheelhouse, and he certainly looked very, very good on it. In fact, that it took them a little bit to warm up on both of those rounds, but once they were in it, they were in it. And there was no taking back for London Spitfire. They had almost no presence on that point in both rounds.
Very, very clean game play coming from New York here. And I'm quite surprised as well, but this is exactly what we wanted to see from them. We had all these doubts coming into this match. They wouldn't be able to perform in a playoff scenario, and here they are proving everyone wrong, including all of us here on the desk today. I think their ult economy has been fantastic, actually.
Yes,
their ult usage has been on point a lot of the time. You're seeing no waste. This is something Hex was talking about all the time during the cast.
But my question mark is, why is Guard in here? Because so far we've only seen him play the Doomfist, and Birdring was actually playing a really competent Doomfist, shutting down Young Jin when they were in the play-ins. And you take a look at his stats here, and Flower just outplayed him. Sure, they won, and it was fairly dominant, but Guard was just getting countered, beaten, stunned all over the place. Didn't have much success. It improved on Numbani, but I don't understand why he's in over Birdring.
You want some hot tub gossip?
Yes, give me the hot tub gossip.
Give us some.
It's pretty late, honestly. It's pretty old hot tub juice.
Okay.
If I do
Is
say
it
so
Birdring?
myself.
I don't want to hear anything about hot tub juice, but
It's from last year. It's from last year. It's from last year.
Okay.
But essentially, Birdring often does as well get in his own head a little bit during matches.
Yeah.
He's been an inconsistent player over the course of his career. And we have seen in the past, sometimes we don't see Birdring, and we asked ourselves this question many times last year. Doesn't make much sense, but I would not be surprised if it is a fact that Birdring just doesn't feel confident coming into this game.
a little bit of stage fright.
Right, maybe stage fright, but I don't really... he doesn't strike me as a player that would be scared to be going into these playoff scenarios, but sometimes he might just be doubting himself a little bit. Happens all the time. Happens to the very best players. But in this case, it's Guard that has to step up and take his position. As you can see, it's not really working out for him.
Very interesting, very interesting. All right, well, moving on to Numbani. We saw some very interesting stuff coming from the NYXL. I think this is the first time I've actually seen this Bastion strat, at least from my perspective. But what do you guys think of that?
I just love this. Look at his synergy as well. The main tanks, they know exactly what to do. Like, the lineup of New York should not be capable of bringing down a Fire Mercy combo.
Yes.
But they're so clean in terms of their execution of abilities that they're capable of doing it.
Yeah, it's been really good from New York, and also what I love is how prepared they are coming into these playoffs. I think they know that they need to step up now. If you fail in the playoffs again, it stops becoming a curse, and it just, I don't know, it's a disaster every single year. It's kind of pointless to dominate the regular season if you fail in the playoffs. This looks like a New York with specialist strategies, with a good understanding of the meta, and a roster that's very capable of executing.
Yeah, they came in with a game plan and they executed it almost to perfection. Their time on Numbani was actually quite outrageously good. That's definitely something I didn't expect. I did think that London Spitfire would eventually find their footing, but they just didn't. New York rolled absolutely through their offense. And not just their offense looked really strong. I also think that their defense, not on Numbani, but once they had to defend a point on the first map, has also been looking really, really strong. They've done really good in switching between their offensive and their defensive style, which is something we haven't seen a lot from them previously.
Well, Bren, I know you loved that little halt play, right? On Numbani. You loved it. I could see how excited you were. Exactly.
Grab it.
I loved it. I love it.
Are you going to break it down?
Oh, I'm not going to break that one down because it was really quite simple. They just halted and killed them. Okay. But I do have an Insights powered by Intel where I want to run through some of the things that London Spitfire was doing really well in their playoff games. And it revolves around this whole combo. So London Spitfire's combo of Gesture and Fury, a tank line that they haven't really played this kind of role for a long time, but they've got a lot of synergy. And you can see them here on the point. They're going to shoot a halt up towards Coma and try and combo the halt with the rock. And this was a combo that was working out superbly for them throughout this match where they played against the Shanghai Dragons. And it's so cool to see executed, where you can sync up the halt and it's kind of a prediction rock. And they did it a ton of times, not just on the Fire Mercy, but it does a lot of damage as well. 80 damage from the rock. You can secure kills a lot of the time. Look at this one. Oh my word. How beautiful it was. And this is the kind of thing that we were praising Gesture and Fury for when we were watching them previously, and we thought, wow, what a tank line, what a beast of a tank line. But at the moment, they're getting outplayed by Mano and Meko. And in a meta that's so much about how your tanks are performing, they need to start getting the better end of this and shutting down New York.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see their tanks synergizing, so to make this match a little bit more competitive. But guys, it's time for Crunch Time, presented by Cheez It Grooves. We're here in the playoffs, and let's talk about a little bit about the NYXL and their playoff struggles that they've had all time. We take a look here here. Lots of losses going since stage 1 of last year. They've been losing a lot in the playoffs. So this is actually a really big match for them outside of them just advancing. This is kind of them getting over a curse, as we talked about a little bit earlier.
I mean, it was a self-inflicted curse by the looks of it, though. It always looked like they just didn't take it as serious. It always looked like they didn't come in prepared. And today, with those set strats, with those set plays, with this clear game plan and the very obvious preparation, they look like a completely different team. I don't know if that's a change in their coaching staff, but something changed.
Now, I also want to have a word of caution, though, as well, because London, when they played against Shanghai, went up 2-0, and we thought, wow, dominant, incredible, full held on Umbani. There's still time for NYXL to crumble.
days.
They've still got to keep themselves in this game.
I will say as well, when we take a look at NYXL across the franchise, in the pre-show today, I pointed out there's a lot of similarities between last year and this year. The one thing that's really changed, though, as well, was the thing that really hurt them was a change in meta, actually, moving forward into an Orisa meta. They've been playing an Orisa meta pretty much the entirety of the year. They should be pretty familiar with this kind of heroes that we're being seen. And Meko looks phenomenal on their Sigma. They don't seem to have many weaknesses as of yet. So we're not seeing the same sort of happenstance. I don't really know.
Sure, you can use that word.
Thanks. I look towards you, my English dictionary in person. Like, is that a word? I've had a couple of mess-ups on this desk, Josh. I get a little bit panicky at times, particularly with Ilios when it comes up. But I do think that we're not seeing the same stuff happening. What are you giggling at?
Oh, come on.
All right.
Well, guys, that was Crunch Time, presented by Cheez-It Grooves. And let's go ahead and jump into map 3, which is an assault map. It looks like we might be going to Temple of Anubis. Is this a map that's going to favor the NYXL, especially with them running this very interesting Bastion composition where they're just breaking through the shields of the London Spitfire?
Maybe. Here's the thing. I mean, it's going to be London Spitfire's map pick right now.
Yeah.
And they must have a reasoning for doing it. But what we're seeing from them, we don't see too much specialist stuff coming out than we have previously. It's a lot of Reaper, and it's a lot of the Doomfist that comes out. Now, these weird dives at off angles. I kind of want to see. I don't think we're going to see Genji pulled out by Profit, although it would be kind of sick. But New York NYXL look very prepared right now on a multitude of maps, and they look very comfortable. It's going to be a tough ask for London to try and come back in this.
Indeed. I think we might see Symmetra. That's just like my hot take.
Think so?
I think we might see Symmetra.
We've been bigging up Symmetra for so long, and we haven't really seen her at all. So I don't know.
Maybe that's just my heart hoping for it. But guys, that was halftime presented by Cheez-It Grooves. We got a whole nother half to go. The NYXL are up 2-0. We'll see if the London Spitfire can get back into this matchup right after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. They're not Pringles.
Well, there you have it, Hex. We have a real shocker on our hands here. The New York XL have shown up to play. They've taken the lead in this series 2-0.
Yeah, and you know, all the analysts predicted that NYXL was going to lose in 2 rounds, get bounced from the playoffs. And look, you can't really fault them for it. You saw the history of their playoff performances, or lack thereof, as it turns out. NYXL seemed to come to play today, and I really just want to give the coaching staff a lot of credit. We don't get to talk a lot about the coaches in this league, but it seems like they had strategies. They kind of mentally knew that Numbani was probably going to be the pick, and now we shall see what they have on our next map. New York up 2-0 in our first of 4 series as we go into our assault map.
People seem to think that I've got a bone to pick with New York. You know, it's not the case that I dislike New York. It's just that, you know, I've been frustrated with New York not playing up to the level.
Yeah.
Here, New York are playing up to the level we expected.
Well, it's both of these
It's elating.
teams.
It's exciting. It's fantastic to see that New York right now are taking it to a team that everybody had that was the favorite going into this match.
We had heard a lot of rumors coming into the playoff meta in our playoffs presented by Xfinity that London was crushing people, that London was a top 4 team in our play-ins and playoffs, etc., and it does not seem to be the case. But you know what? We hadn't seen a lot of these teams play in the meta, so it's kind of still a wild card. It's the first time New York's gotten to the stage because they had a high seed, because they beat every team in front of them in a very weak strength of schedule, but you know, it's not their fault they had a weak strength of schedule. That strength of schedule also means that a lot of teams got beat by New York a bunch of times.
True, exactly. I mean, they dropped it here and there, but them getting the bye deeper into the bracket has definitely, well, paid off for New York.
All right.
That's kind
Well, Symmetra straps,
Shenanigans.
they were looking for it. Again, they're running unique.
None of us are here for you, buddies. I mean, Fury's off on a flank. He's looking for his own way through. They are down a shield, but it's not going to last long versus SBB anyway.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of them trying to work their way through this choke point.
At least London is trying to do something different. Guard was just dying and diving in on the Doomfist on the Bastion a ton of times on the previous map. He's on the Hanzo for the moment. A big flank coming in from the Fair Mercy of the London Spitfire. Quatermain and Prophet in the skies behind NYXL right now.
It looks like Fury finally decided now's the time to go ahead and commit to this point. Oh, again, clever TP work coming in through here. Libero setting up the plays here. Pulled a fast one on Prophet.
The teleporter is eliminated. It's down for the moment. So right now, Sabiobi is stuck up here, but he's got all the help in the world. Fury's just waiting to get something going on this Hammond.
Look at him. He doesn't even know where to look anymore. He's got too many targets, Hex. Just a spoiled, you know, kid with all the the Christmas presents on Christmas morning. Eventually, I would have got it out.
Target-rich environment, as Soldier 76 would say. Prophet's able to take down the immortality field, but still no eliminations thus far. Oh, Prophet finally gets Libero. That's going to really hinder the mobility of Sabiobi. Got to be careful now.
They're doing such a good job. Look at this. Minute and a half has been burnt off the clock already here, and New York XL haven't dropped anybody just yet. The lantern goes down, keeps everybody alive. That was the window thrown in by Animo. Windows! SBB connects! Rocket point blank doing the damage.
Enormous kill. They're going to be able to resurrect this, though. Really nice positioning here from Quatermain as he wraps around the squad. Fury just donates the hamster life.
Yeah, and it's looking like they may go for a change of strategy here because Prophet, he just throws that barrage in, hoping against hope. Animo's going to have a long run back in. Neko eventually gets beaten to death by Gesture. Brutal.
Not ideal, but Gesture is now way behind this team.
Do they actually bother with this guy, or do they just set up points? Because, I mean, this is what Gesture is hoping for.
Ooh!
Unbelievable. Gesture actually solos Jonak. That's not how that's supposed to go at all. Now TP straight up, and this is falling apart. It looked so good for the New York XL, but they just had too many targets to worry about there. They were getting pulled out of position by Gesture, and Gesture capitalized.
I mean, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go or not. Sigma's still pretty new, and it does feel like he's a very good 1v1ing tank with all the abilities. He can just keep moving his shield, dancing around it, very much like a Winston bubble. You dance in and out of it. Yeah. Although now with Sigma, you can just have your shield do the dancing for you. Very difficult to get anything in on him. And London will pick it up. 4 minutes on the clock now on Temple of Anubis to capture second point. And a bevy of ultimates for the London Spitfire.
Now they decided now's the time to crack it. This is what Sigma was designed for. The whole point, his raison d'etre was to break bunkers. So you get the flux thrown in. That's going to just chunk SBB, but SBB is going to be able to get back into this quick, and he's going for the Tracer Hex. Wall is up here for Libero as well, cutting that point, giving the New York XL room to work with here, trying to hold the London Spitfire off, and no permanent progress picked up here by the London Spitfire just yet.
If any team believes that Tracer can be run in any meta, it is the NYXL, and when you've got a god-tier Tracer like, say, POV, why wouldn't you have that faith?
Why'd you have to curse him there?
I'm
Why'd
sorry,
you have to
SBB.
curse him?
I'm
Why'd
sorry.
you have to curse him?
He already got one kill. Enormous initial kill. London's gonna have to back up at least momentarily and give up some space. Now they lose Badoshin.
Whoa, 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 Jonak. That was a bit of a scary moment there. Good support coming in from Animo. And now all the heals just stabilizing here on the side of the New York XL. 3 minutes on the clock for London. By no means are they running out of time.
Staggers, though. These staggers have been great. And we say it every time we're on Assault, but it's worth repeating. The offense has to be perfect. The defense has to be competent. You need to get perfect kills for the offense. If the defense gets 1, even 2, that's usually a successful defense. NYXL is going to take this time while they have Flux on the ready to make some changes. London will follow suit.
So we get the Reaper back in. There's the Flux.
That's a weird Flux, but okay.
There it is. There it is. Patience plays off, holds him out in the open as well. Nowhere to hide. Gesture rock to the face. Never pleasant. He's going to go down here in a moment. Clever play coming in from Meko. True mastery, it seems, from the hero. He is looking so good on Sigma.
It has been a very impressive performance. We've never seen Meko play Sigma before, and he is putting on a masterclass. We all know how good he can be. Whenever you talk about New York, yes, we like to highlight the damage dealers, but very much like London, where you think of Gesture and Fury, New York's identity is Mano and Meko.
This is just the defensive setup. We're at 1:40 on the clock now for London Spitfire, so it's time to get in here and time to do some damage. Jonak knows it's coming, gets the Coalescence out, and they get blown up immediately, London, and now more staggers. It's just terrible. Doshin, he goes down. And the New York XL just looking so solid on the defense of Anubis. This is one of the things as well, though, is that because they actually go deeper into the bracket, the New York XL, we are all learning what to expect from them this week. New York have had that info to go off of for London for a week now.
Look, the meta shifted last year and it hurt NYXL. Perhaps it shifts this year and it helps NYXL. It looks like they've got all the players for all the roles you need to go. See how Libero's Doomfist goes. He's got Ultimate online. Just over a minute left here for the Spitfire offense to make any progress on the second point of Anubis.
Let's see. Safe play coming in here from Libero. Does not want to overcommit. Just going to try and wait for them to push on to the point and blow somebody up, or it cuts right through him. That's going to put some pressure here. Doshin's still going to pick up a kill on SBB, but the Meteor Strike getting used aggressively. The Halts to help out as well. Nice attempt at some coordination there. Mono trying to work with his teammate. It wasn't quite enough that time. And now the Flux thrown in here by Gesture. This should be the end. Meko gone, and, well, New York XL now. They're on the back foot.
That's the ace you're looking for. Sabiobi's back in it, but only momentarily, as Prophet is cleaning up the points, getting some pressure out here now. NYXL can get some bodies on here, but maybe they don't.
No, not in time, not in time. You even had the change up from Meko. He went for the hamster, but he wasn't able to roll his way onto that point fast enough.
You used to always see Reaper on this point to shut out fights, because when teams are trying to re-engage, he's such a great gatekeeper at the door, the bouncer. We're gonna see the second half of Anubis right after this.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes.
welcome back with the New York XL on the offense now for Anubis in this second half. The London Spitfire succeeded in picking up 2 points, and they do that with 20 seconds left in the bank hex. So a bit like on Numbani, the London Spitfire, they got the job done. They managed to get the 2 points, but they had to fight really hard for it, and they don't have a whole lot of time to show for it.
Barely get it done.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the, do you want to do the bare minimum or do you want to excel at your job?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, they get 20 seconds on the clock, which is good. At least it didn't finish in overtime, so now we have different scenarios. They've got another specific strategy here. A Symmetra back.
Oh, so clever. Right across the open ground. No worries there. Oh, you guys want to hang out up there? Do you want to have shields too? This is not going to happen because SVP is going to be here to melt them instantly, immediately.
Well,
they
Libero's
try to crash in here. London Spitfire, they try to push, trying to shut them down, but it's guard. This is a wipeout. It's a total backfire. Disaster for the London Spitfire.
Not only is Bastion good against shields, his partner in crime, Symmetra, there is very good against shields. You use the beam on the shields and it doesn't cost you ammo. It charges up your beam, so once you break those shields, everything melts in front of you. That combo runs roughshod over the defense, anticipating pretty much anything but what NYXL is running at him. And London now on the back foot, over 6 minutes on the clock for the NYXL.
That was insanely fast. And it's actually just like Numbani all over again. Feels like we've got a New York XL who are very confident and who are well prepared for these maps. And while as far as London are concerned, not quite the case. SBB set up on the high ground, looking to just do some damage here. He's going to get support from his mates as well. Yep, sure enough. They're here, they've got his back, and he is just eliminating all of the hiding places here for the London Spitfire. They're just going to have to hug pillars.
Yeah, the Sigma really enables this Bastion because of the very interesting shield mechanic he has. Able to float in the sky, able to float in front. CBOB gets rocked, but that's no problem. He's just going to go in the back line.
Oh, but now there's the window! Can he do the damage? Jester trying to be the hero, trying to slam him. Not going to happen, though. The lantern's down. Nobody dies on the side of New York XL, and now they're in the back line. They've cut off the London Spitfire from spawn. You got nowhere to hide, and they're setting themselves up for a brilliant offense here on the side of the New York XL.
Here comes the tank, trying to finish it out.
Oh, this is a thing of beauty. It doesn't get any better than this. New York XL, some clever play, inspired. Such a joy to see here for the New York XL to really turn it around and smash the London Spitfire as quick as it gets, Hex. 5 minutes 37 in the bank for the New York XL.
Nigh a drop of blood spilled for the New York Excelsior as they complete Anubis in a blistering time. 5:37 left in their time bank. We're going to be generous and give London up to a minute over 20 seconds. But the disparity could not be larger between these two time banks as we go to another half, extra innings of Anubis.
And clearly, I mean, they're looking a little confused on the side of London right now, a little frustrated. That's not how things are supposed to go here for London. They just got ran right through as if they weren't even on the server.
I've always held the belief that London's a little bit of a momentum-based team, and that works both ways. When they start running through a team, they can really just close it out and they will dominate. But when things start going bad, you kind of have in their mental a little bit. Can they come back from it? Can they pick each other up? Can you find something here to hang your hat on? London needs to put some progress on this point.
And yes, help us bid farewell to the Blizzard Arena by joining us live here for the playoffs through September 15th. We've sold out the grand final tags. That much is done.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some live Overwatch and you are here in the LA area or around us, just fly on in for the weekend. You want to come and see it live here from the studio before it all goes away.
You gotta get to the Blizzard Arena here in beautiful Southern California just to see the screen.
Yes.
It's one of the most amazing spectacles I've ever seen in any given sport or amphitheater. It's worth the ticket alone.
All right, well, it took some work for the London Spitfire, and I think it was really just the New York XL got thrown for a loop the first time around. So
you're only going to get one push here. Fury's in the back line, putting some pressure on the point.
It goes according to plan. Barriers on barriers, and guard. He drops Libero. The arrow, perfect.
That's like Fury's kill, though. Fury made Libero leave his safe perch and go back into the open. Great capitalization there from guard.
Oh, Prophet with these direct rockets. He's doing tremendous damage, but there it is. SVP gets his revenge. Finds a kill of his own. Jester doing the best he can to manage his shield, but keep in mind, this is all about the point. Prophet gets brought back to life, but SVP trying to set up so that he can just pace this point, cover it with a hail of bullets if he needs to, hoping to perhaps catch Prophet if he can. That's the main source of damage, but as I say that, guard coming up with 2 kills. Turns out that Guard, he can play damage after all. He just needed to be on Hanzo.
This one's not quite over yet, but now it is. Cleanup kills for London, and Guard finally makes his name be known here after running a Doomfist into the Bastion, like running your head into a brick wall for so on the Hanzo.
Now that is exactly what Guard needed to do here.
Yeah.
The damage has been kind of suffering here on the side, a little bit low on the side of London Spitfire. And Guard perhaps just not comfortable on that fist, but you get him onto Hanzo. Look at that, he just turned it all around. He got the big kill to kick things off on Libero, and then from there on out, he did the damage his team needed.
It was critical. Libero, if he gets one of those kills in the back line, probably swings that fight. Last attempt for London.
Let's see, they've got to win it outright. Doshin with the transfers trying to ferry his team onto the point. Nice dragons as well into the back line there, making things awkward for the New NYXL. 1 tick and change here for the London Spitfire so far, but the Coalescence is getting thrown in. Instantly stunned, pinned with the rock. Now Libero's into the mix. He's going to take Quartermain out. Libero looking for more as well. Yep, Guard is gone, and the rest of London Spitfire follows suit. The New NYXL will halt the London Spitfire here. 60.3% progress on the second point.
Everything's said and done with only a minute on the clock to be able to take first point and then get 60% on second is a pretty good result there for London Spitfire. The issue is now on the swing back is that NYXL has so much time in their bank that London's defense has to be much better than the first defense we saw, which was non-existent.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't there. They need to remember defense. Right, that's where we stopped them from
Defense wins championships,
That's
they say.
what we have to do.
I'm not sure how that translates well into Overwatch.
Exactly, yeah, because I mean, I thought a strong offense, you know.
I'm just saying phrases I've heard, I don't know.
Just all these sports commentary phrases that are just coming out of the woodwork. Hey, you know, if anybody's capable, it is London. They just need to remember and get some confidence back here. Guard is going to be back on the fist, though. Seems like that's the game plan here for London Spitfire on the defense. This didn't really work out for him the first go-around.
It must have been what they practiced. It just absolutely did not work for them. We'll see if this wrinkle from New York coming out with a Reaper and Symmetra is what they stick with. Nope. Not being caught surprised by this.
To be frank, I do like SBB's plan a little bit better. It didn't really work out for London. For New York, it worked perfectly well. So now it's a question of how quickly can London adapt? Can they change up and adapt to what the New NYXL are going to be throwing at them? And maybe we get a little, well, this will be a different approach as well. A Libero Maywall in here?
It's still same in theory, because what you want to do with this composition is rotate left and then set up on the stairs. And a Maywall lets you do both. Didn't even need to use it early because you have 2 barriers.
There's overlapping barriers. They're overlapping barriers and hoping to cut somebody off, and the London Spitfire are trying to run in here, and there's the Maywall. They're caught on the wrong side of it. Fury and Jester getting pasted, and again, it works perfectly for the New NYXL. The London Spitfire, they just threw themselves into a blender.
Well, finally a kill on the defense as Badoshin takes out Mono, but it's not really going to matter. Free first point taken by NYXL. Again, just have to applaud the strategy that comes to mind. So maybe they're planning against the Symmetra. Well, let's do the same thing, kind of, with this wrinkle in it, with the Mei instead. The Mei's a little more aggressive, allows you to cut them off. If you think that London's going to try to take the fight to you because of your Symmetra Bastion strat, which they should, then a Mei is a perfect counter pick.
And now do they stay on the Mei? You got the mind games coming through here. Do we see a change of strategy? It looks like we're going to see a wholesale change of strategy here from New York. They don't really need to go for the gimmicks. They know they've got a better fist, and they have so much time to work.
60.4%. London just changed their entire backline. London's got nothing to work with. Jonak should have Coalescence that might just win them the fight.
Yeah, this might be rough. Oh, and Jester caught out in the open. Some decent support there. He survives it, but that was definitely close. Prophet gets blown up already, and Jester once again knocked up into the air, and they may not even need anything here for the New NYXL. Jonak with the Coalescence takes down Fury. And the London Spitfire, they just don't have any ults. There's no way for them to answer apart from getting it done the old-fashioned way. Bullets with faces, but they don't really have anything like that. Well, Prophet's the only one who's going to get back in here in time.
While the boxing match goes on beneath us, it's NYXL winning the ground and pound on the point. A couple of kills have come in for London, so it's not quite over just yet. But they got to get back on this point. It's not even need to go to 100%.
Well, they've got a permanent tick of progress now for New York as well, so you're nearly there. Even if you lose this fight now for New York, you're so comfortable with how the rest of this is going to play out. You need one, and that's Quartermain gone, and now it's going to be Doshin's turn, and then it'll be Fury's turn, and then This is all just going to be about staggering, and it's just not even going to happen. It's not even going to happen. The New York Excelsior, 3-0 lead over our defending 2018 champions, the London Spitfire. They're one map away, Hex.
Brilliant strategy, even better execution. That is what had the New York XL on match point. First of 4 moves on in the bracket. Loser goes down to the loser's bracket. We'll see how it all shakes out right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Zip Chair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
마이크 테스트.
1, 2, check.
1, 2, 마이크폰 체크. 1, 2, 마이크폰 체크. Should we do a test mic?
No. In Carpe, you're too loud.
Yeah.
You're gonna shout.
Oh my god.
Let's get it.
Monkey! Let's go, Basio! We can play more together and controlling their DPS.
Yes! This is what we're waiting for. But Jinmu with the triple!
Wasn't enough. Jinmu! Jinmu on Doomfist, one of those snowballing heroes. Once you hit somebody,
That's okay, guys. Just 4 maps to go.
Oh my god.
I feels like here is my home now.
We lose this game. I'm going to Chengdu Hunter.
Thanks to Korea.
Yes, Jinmu is terrifying. There is nothing there. He is a soulless hunter who just rips people to shreds.
yes.
This man's here to do a job.
I think the most scariest part about that was he was just like casually chewing gum at the same time. It wasn't the light dead behind his eyes that he was just absolutely crushing people. He's just like, another day, another
It just shows that you're capable of doing 2 things at once, Hex.
Yeah.
You can like chew gum and not die at the same time if you try to do something else.
Talented people can. You and I wouldn't test it out.
I'd just fall right over the rail here. It'd all be terrible.
Quick, someone get him gum.
Okay. Let's see this all over, bro. Let's go. What do we got? We got a substitution for you. And yes, the glasses may fool you. He doesn't have them on right now, but it is Flower subbing in for Libero.
Yeah, this NYXL team, again, like I said during the offseason, they made some changes. They added some young players, Flower being one of them. Of course, Flower made his name at the World Cup, dominating on Widowmaker, but he's put in some work. He played a little bit of Contenders, has made it up to the big leagues, and now he's going to try to help the NYXL 4-0 the London Spitfire. They're on match point as we head into Watch Point Gibraltar.
And this is what you were talking about, Hex, coming into this. Oh, Flower. Do we get to see some his scan? What do we get to see here? A variety of damage dealers possible. NYXL don't blink, or at least, you know, there is a chance for them to change up there on the offensive line.
I wouldn't put too much stock in it just yet. It used to be one of the best Widow maps ever. But this one's pure escort. If you're not familiar with the game type, we're going to put a payload right outside the gates. And then the teams just have to push it to the end. Checkpoints along the way will get you a little bit of extra time. And it looks like London has something up their sleeves here.
We don't get to see this too often at all. All right, double barrier Bastion. All the fun is not allowed. And are we just going to get straight up Bastion on Bastion? Yes, we are. This will favor the offense.
Early halt, though. And a nice accretion. Guards down!
This is big. This is big. No res possible here for London Spitfire. They're down their main damage dealer. Now SBB just going to go ahead and casually get some hacks off. That's going to make life more difficult for Gesture, who will get overwhelmed here. Gesture barely hanging on, but this is just putting the London Spitfire so far behind in the fight. There's no way for them to come back into this early. It's got to be done.
They're all very, very low. It should just be the cleanup now, but they do still have some healers out there. London's not out of this one just up. The healing is so strong.
Oh, yeah. Ocean with the coalescence, perfectly timed. Meko nowhere to hide behind you. You got that shield, sure thing, but the beam cuts right through it. And they are all over the place right now. The NYXL, you were thinking this was going to be a lock, stock, and two smoking barrels.
Someone killed Badoshan. Thank you. He was just sitting on the cart. I have nothing against Badoshan personally, but he was at about 10 HP just chilling on the cart.
Now, you just got a randomly teleporting Flower. He's there on the payload. Are we actually going to get the set sail here? It looks like it. Oh, so close.
Well, this is an interesting pick, the Sombra. Can do a lot of things towards this composition that the London Spitfire are running. Works really well against Sigma. The EMP will destroy barriers. Also will disable the immortality fields. The EMP is nuts here, and I think they can use it to win this fight just outright.
You're 100% right, except that now we're getting more subtlety here from SBB. It used to be that he would just use the Translocator to throw this in and get the EMP rolling. Instead, it's going to be Flower mowing him down in droves. And he goes for the EMP. He's out of dodge. SBB is just setting it up now, and we will get a May who is promptly going to get gunned down. And a first point picked up here for NYXL. Took him a little longer than expected.
Perfect EMP. He uses the decloak time, which has been increased in this most recent patch. The EMP activation time as well. Uses it halfway in the sky, so he gets everybody up top, gets everybody down below, and we've got a ghost in the machine as our game has been paused. Technical difficulties.
You see, I've landed on it though, Hex. You see, it kind of threw us off there for a second, Flower, because you don't actually need glasses to see what you're shooting at when you play Bastion.
No.
You know, you just
shoot at the blur.
It's like, it's just gonna be a bit more comfortable. It's like, oh man, it just kind of hurts the frames a little bit with the headset.
Yeah. So our referees are taking care of our pause here. Technical issues. You're running 12 computers. Something is bound to happen. I think a keycap. Is that what I just saw? Keycap fell off of the keyboard?
Does he smash his keyboard? I've seen this happen in the past. That's legendary. Idra. We can just throw it all the way back to Idra back in the day. But
just working on it. So that should be a pretty quick fix right here. At the very least, we could just get him another keyboard from out back. We have wonderful sponsors here in our Overwatch League playoffs presented by Xfinity. It looks like we're probably going to get back into it. Although I will take this time to implore the Overwatch League to have one of those really cool technical difficulty screens that we can put up.
Yeah, I kind of just wish, though, that we could have seen that moment where he shows true grit guard. You know, he's like, the keypad's off, his finger's bleeding, but he's playing through the pain to get the job done for his team. Nothing's going to stop him. And he said, he's like, oh, hold on, pause. I need to put this keycap back on.
I mean, you know, if it was one of his movement keys, it's actually really, really critical, and I have to imagine it was. Right now, though, NYXL moving forward. Hey, comfort is key. Blizzard goes off on the point for London.
Oh, well, there we go. Flower. He's a frozen. He's a gone. The cold hoarfrost.
There's a possibility for a resurrection here, though. Oof. I don't know if you even go for it now. Prophet putting the team on his back.
Oh, no. And Gesture, yeah, he will mow him down, and it is just a hard reset here for New York XL.
It's really important to stall people at this point of Gibraltar especially because now defender's advantage is going to come in so strong. Look at all this free high ground he gets to take on the defense, and just like any scenario of battle, high ground is pretty important.
And double shield setup as well. How in blazes do you get through here? Wrap around through the bottom, perhaps? I mean, you still got Prophet over there guarding the payload itself, though.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why you don't see a ton of Sombra on these things is, what is Sombra going to hack when there's double shield? What's she really going to do to be able to build up EMP early on?
Oh, that was so cool, though. He just had guard, and then they can push through. The barriers are going to survive. It's not a problem, and now it's the edge for Flower to go ahead and start mowing them down. That's everything is about, when it comes to this Bastion on Bastion with barriers, it's about getting your Bastion just that extra little bit more time to melt shields. You got the advantage in that. You can barrel through on the defense. Look at this now. New York XL, they're going to get reestablished here on the payload.
Really smart, quick play there by Flower to take down the Immortality Field first. Prophet will fall second. Prophet was the reason they won that first fight. Now he's out of it.
Really cool. Just set up shop again on the payload. By the time he gets around that bend, you're going to be in turret mode, and Flower can then just proceed to continue melting barriers.
Got another EMP ready from Sabiobi.
Over the top, over the top, over the top. He spots them. He sees them. All sorts of bunch of... Like, this is going to be real fun. Yep. Catches them all. I don't think that he managed to catch guard. I think guard... No, he did. Barely managed to catch guard. Prophet will be able to get the Blizzard off, though, and they will stabilize despite it all. London Spitfire putting up more of a fight here on Gibraltar.
We talk about Prophet so often, it's because he's capable of performances like this. When the rest of London wants to give up, Prophet always shows up big. 13 limbs, 6 final blows. Those Blizzards have been the reason they've won the 2 fights that they have. Prophet is a refuse-to-lose kind of player.
He's always coming in through with the clutch. That's what true stars are capable of. And guard, he's nearly got the tank mode. So we'll see. It's been Bastion on Bastion. Flower's been kind of coming out ahead on that, and they are just still sticking to it here, New York XL. They're not changing the strategy. So interesting decisions here. Clearly something that they practice, clearly something that they want to execute on. And well, now you've got to deal with it once again. You know, guard, last time you were able to get a nice hack to put him out. Now knocked out of position, New York XL on the low ground. And there, the window pane could make all the difference because this is really going to ramp up the damage here for Flower. He can now start melting completely these barriers. There's nothing that can really stand in his way. And if you get caught for even an instant, you are going to be gone. SBB takes down guard with the help of his team. And now there's an opening here for the New York XL. Could be big damage coming through with the Flux, though, but they barely hang in. No, Flower gone. Meko and Mano survive, though. Somebody got to get rid of the lantern. You got to get rid of the lantern.
They were so low until they got into the Immortality Field, but another Blizzard comes out.
Oh, and another EMP over the top, but there's no way to capitalize. Half the team is frozen. Half the team is frozen. Prophet is a madman.
He's getting Blizzard every minute in 19 seconds. He's had Blizzard for the last several fights. And now NYXL goes back to the drawing board. They're going to switch it up. Although against a Bastion, I'm not certain about this. The notion is you run Mano in on the Hammond. He disrupts everything. Perhaps Flower is there with him on a teleport, a shadow step to get into spots. But right now, Sabiobi at 10% on the Sombra. Gonna need a critical hack. They get Prophet hacked!
This is big, but he gets such good support. He gets such good support. Even the Lantern getting thrown in on him. There. Flower not able to make it happen there, and Prophet showing just the difference between a rookie and a pro.
It's going to be tough for NYXL. You hear the ominous music, that means time is running out. About 10 seconds on the clock. NYXL just has to get somebody to be able to touch the payload, try to keep this alive. Meko goes to Diva just to try to get the mobility in.
To the epic music, Mono's on there, so we will get the overtime wick, but Mono instantly frozen in place, and Prophet just beams him down, and now it's on New York XL. Can they make it happen here? Meko with the D-Matrix, it's not going to last long, getting Team X, and this is going to be a hard hold here for the London Spitfire. They allowed 1 point, but this is as far as the payload will go, and we'll have to see what the New York XL are capable of on the defense. New York, that was a spicy one, but the London Spitfire looking like a team revitalized here.
1.5 points there for the NYXL on the offense. The best thing you can say about the defense for London Spitfire, Prophet stepped up huge. He had Blizzard seemingly every fight, and not only did he get the Blizzard, he turned those Blizzards into kills. 9 Blizzard kills with that ultimate that round from Prophet.
Just waiting for you to say he turned those frowns upside down. I mean, that is kind of what happened here for the London Spitfire, because they are actually smiling now for the first time. It feels like this series. It was looking pretty grim there after the 3rd map. During the break, they weren't really moving, they weren't really talking. Now you've got some energy showing here. And, well, you want to see more of this energy. You do not want to miss out on it one bit. You can't get tickets anymore. It's sold out. But the grand finals, you can watch on Twitch, ABC, and the ESPN app, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Very good candidates to be at the grand finals in Philadelphia this year. London Spitfire and NYXL. NYXL on match point still. If they can prevent London from getting to where they push the payload, they're moving on in our upper bracket. Exceptional today. And that seems like the recipe they want to go with on the defense. Gonna have to wait a second for London.
I predict that London do very well here. Guard gets to stay on Hanzo. This is playing into Guard's wheelhouse. He's been so quiet all series long. But whenever he gets on Hanzo, starts doing some serious work. So is that going to be the case here for him? He's gonna be looking to connect to arrows with faces.
Ultra out of it. Porter goes down now.
Doshin nearly dies to the Symmetra turrets. Those things do so much damage.
They're pretty good. It's not the damage, it's the slowing too, so you can't even get away from it.
It's just annoying.
London makes some changes here, compositionally.
Okay. So Guard, all right, we will get the pirate ship. And Prophet back on May. I'm not too sad about seeing more Prophet May. He dominated on that defense, so if he's feeling it right now, let the guy roll.
It also lets you put a wall up in front of the opposing bastion. There it is.
Yep, exactly. And they are even going to just change it up again. Constant pressure here from the London Spitfire. The shields are up, going to get melted. There's no way for them to hold against this bastion pressure. This is the May wall, and well, all he has to do is, go for the reload. And now London, they're kind of stuck here. How do they crack through this defense? What's the play? It's not like they have a Sombra to throw into the back line and potentially get a hack that could throw things out of whack for the defense.
I wonder where this teleporter goes next. Way up top. That's the escape route if these shields start cracking.
Yeah, high ground. I mean, Flower is just going to be doing damage, just chunking, but yep, there it is. This change up, change of angle, SBB on the high ground. He's going to be able to make it back down. The turret has been destroyed, but valuable time getting burnt off the clock. 2.5 minutes left on the clock here. Doshin decides now's the time to go with the window is in. But we get that lantern down here on the side of NYXL. Animo doing the best he can to keep his team up, and so far it is working. They couldn't quite get the angle on the lantern, and so it survived forever. Jonak decides now's the time to go for a coalescence. London going to be more than happy to back off and let that fizzle out.
It's not that terrible because there's not a Moira on the other side. So when you get coalescence, you just slam it in there. It's not the worst thing in the world. Still London trying to find their angle of aggression here. And also now they've got the Symmetra barrier ultimate up. You can cut a wall across the entire map if you feel your team's in trouble. There it is.
Yep, there it is. Oh, he just cuts him right off perfectly. London, what are you going to do when that wall is up? The answer is not a whole lot. Minute 45 on the clock now for London Spitfire.
Quartermain also ended up using Valkyrie in that fight. That's a lot of healing and a lot of mobility down for the Mercy, so a resurrection going to be infinitely more difficult.
Well, let's see it. Maywall is down, and this is going to try and make it so that they Bastions work together. Meko doing the best he can to absorb that damage, and he does get a whole lot of barrier energy on that as well. And now you change up the angle. You try and work around these barriers. Flux is thrown in, but the Lantern, it's gone in the nick of time. Not going to be able to capitalize with any real damage. And London Spitfire now making a little bit of progress.
Sabiobi died early in that fight, so they don't have their main source of damage out. Huge halt.
Oh, and they're going to barely squeak it at the end, Hanks. They barely managed to make it happen. Minute on the clock. Last second contestant through from New York, but that will be it. 3.5 minutes now for the London Spitfire to run it home.
I mean, it's very much like when we saw Doomfist compositions, when you have these dueling mirrored compositions, when it's all built around a single hero. That's what the comp is built around. You build around Doomfist getting early kills, you build around Bastion, so the team that loses their Bastion first, obviously in trouble.
And what impeccable timing here from Guard. Just gets it in there perfectly. The Flower puts the wall up, fair enough, but now NYXL, they're on the back foot in a real rough way. Ult's online now for London Spitfire. Prophet saw how good he was with the Blizzard. Flux is thrown in to kick things off. Meko and Jonak, SBB, everybody dying on the defense, and it's looking like the London Spitfire are now primed to not go down without a fight. They will get on the board with one map here, barring some miracle for NYXL. You don't just clean sweep the defending champs, Hex.
No. Let that be known. No one defeats London 4 maps in a row in the playoffs of 2019.
Yeah, Blizzard is on there just to guarantee it. Meko trying to contest, and it's just not happening for the NYXL. It will be the London Spitfire. Putting a map on the board, New York XL. They looked so good on the first 3 maps of this series, but Gibraltar clearly not their home map. And that is the thing, though. Gotta keep in mind, in terms of the mind games, London Spitfire, they keep choosing the maps because they keep losing. Now we get to go to a map where New York are the ones who get to decide, no, this is where we feel strongest. So we'll see how it all pans out right after this commercial break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
So there you have it, the London Spitfire. They're able to get 1 map on the board, Hex. Is this where the gravy train, it's all aboard, or is it about to, are the tracks about to get blown up in front of us?
Hey, they definitely had a better performance on Gibraltar there. I thought Fury played exceptionally. I think the Halts are what won them their fights on their offense. Obviously, Prophet stood strong on the defense. But because of the format we have here, that loser gets to pick maps, as we enter into our second round of Control, NYXL gets to pick maps. And London has struggled on Control, but on a very few Control maps in particular. So if I'm guessing what the next map is going to be, I would take London to Ilios, where they are 2-9 on the season.
And I'm wondering, we all wait with a bated breath where New York are going to take it, but if they had the choice, yep, it's going to be Ilios.
Yeah.
So that's the rough one, where London, I was trying to make that point before, where they keep getting you pick maps where they should think they're strong, right? We lost the last map. Now New York gets to have that shoe on their foot, and it's going to do a lot of kicking.
Yeah, well, you have to beat maps that the other team picks. Like, look, New York won Numbani that London picked, so London's been picking all the maps thus far. We are going to bring in Libero for Flower, New York. This is what I like. They're subbing people out. They've got specific strategies. Like, this damage dealer is good at this. This is the role. This is the comp we want to run. It looks decisive. And that's what is impressive so far about NYXL. That's why they added these players in the offseason, so they would have a little more versatility. Look, I think Libero can't have him be the best at everything. It's literally impossible to do in Overwatch.
Only Prophet. There are exceptions. There are exceptions to the rule. Prophet is one of them, but I mean, Prophet is also the guy who shows up when you need him most. On Gibraltar as well, he was making all the plays on that May, perfect blizzards, perfect May walls,
right,
and all the kills as well. So the guy will just do everything for you, right? He is close to a hard carry as you can get in Overwatch.
Refuse to go out without at least a little bit of a fight. They get that goose egg off the board, does the London Spitfire. Look, and it's not over for London if they lose. So they go down to the lower bracket. Think of it like, you know, everybody gets to lose. You you don't want to lose once. That's not great. This is what I was talking about. Look at these records here on Ilios. The Spitfire 2-9. The New York Excelsior 7-3. A smart map pick for New York.
Yes, this is what is called playing to your strengths, Hex. Playing to your strengths. NYXL know this is a home map for them. And well, the London Spitfire, they may get sent packing here. We're going to see. And just more Bastion.
All right.
It really seems like New York have got their heart set on this.
Sabiobi the Bastion main.
They like turrets.
They're going to try to set up on the bridge here, and they've got Libero forward advanced scouting trying to clear hallways for him, and they look like they are going to get set up over top.
Is there a way for Prophet to dive in here?
He's going to try.
Clever, and he gets knocked out. Perfect reaction there from New York NYXL. Animo ready with the boop. Knocks Prophet onto the low ground. All you're going to get to do is just shoot at shields now, and that's Chodomak finding the first. Mono, though, going down, may throw things out of loop here for the New York NYXL.
Well, London's going to take the first point because there's no pressure on the point, but I think NYXL are fine with it as they pick up a couple of kills in return.
You just have nowhere to go if you got this kind of pressure going at you right now, SBB. Oh, is that a shield? It's going to last all of 2 seconds, and then you're going to die.
In the Immortality field. You can't even get close enough with some of the heroes that London's running to kill the Immortality field before you just get shredded by the Bastion. You don't have time to shoot the Immortality field, then take a shot at the Bastion. You simply do not. So now you do see switches from London Spitfire. That's good at the very least. Guard will go over to Hanzo, Prophet to the Pharah. This is the response to a bunker composition. Pepper away at it and hope to get some kills, hope to see someone step out of a shield.
Essentially, guard, I mean, on that Hanzo, this is the thing. We've seen a solid Hanzo play out of guard. So I'm hoping that this is him kind of coming into his own where he gets to shine and feel a bit more comfortable instead of having to play the fist. Well, for now, it's just, you're all just playing against pillars, but at some point you're gonna have to get onto that, at some point you're gonna have to get onto the point. It's kind of the name of the game here. Kills are all fine and dandy, but if you're not controlling the point, you're gonna lose this map.
Fury was messing around in the back line. He was gonna try to get in here and get a slam onto this bunker that has been set up, but he got spotted very early by Libero. Libero called for help. Meko did the retreat with him. He got him there. Now they're trying to deal with the Pharah Mercy, who's on a really off angle, very low right now. Still no pressure from London on this bunker. Even Libero trying to mess with the Pharah Mercy in the sky.
Nobody's really doing anything, which means they aren't really getting ult charge. Unless you're Doshin. You decide that now's the time to go for a Coalescence. Now you're trying to beam him down. Sound barrier thrown in here by Animo, though. That's going to keep everybody healthy. And Hale, although Sabiobi's dropping dangerously low, he is playing it safe, and he decides to go tank mode. He's going anti-air tank mode. This is where he wished he had the flak shells, you know, that he could just chuck up there and hope that he could drop them. But it's Guard who will fall to a Lucio of all heroes. And well, Doshin the next to go. So New York NYXL just looking excellent here on the defense. They aren't really making any mistakes for the London Spitfire to take advantage of.
Been completely one-sided. It is 14-1 as far as eliminations go. 90% and counting up for the NYXL on the first point of Ilios, which is their match point. 1st to 4 wins the set.
Let's see it. Last fight, back to the wall. You need the damage, and you're going to go for the Dragons. Guard trying to open up this point through the likely spot. But again, you've still got Jonak just chilling out, and Jonak doesn't even use the Lantern in that position. He's holding on to it, waiting for the real pressure. Yep, sure enough, there it is. It's Prophet going for the barrage. What's waiting for you? The Lantern from Jonak keeping his team up. Prophet blown up, and Guard does take Libero. So that's some damage down, and he gets to follow up on Sabiobi. Yep, Sabiobi going down next.
Gesture gets a couple of kills, and now New York is probably out of this fight. They're trying to drain ultimates out of the London Spitfire. They're already at 99%, so a single fight away when this one finally concludes, which it does seem like it will do just about now. Now some switches.
Yep.
This is smart, though, because you can't really re-establish as a Bastion. You know, it's a good opening gambit. You win, you're in control, and the other team gets put against it. Now NYXL is going to switch over. We see Sabiobi go to your favorite cowboy. It's the McCree.
Let's go bring the peace. Jingle jangling his way into this fight. And well, as far as the rest of the team are concerned, just fine and dandy. All they need to do is win one fight here in New York NYXL, and they have plenty of time to do it with. They've got the Flux as well. We've seen how powerful this ultimate can be. Meko has been excelling on Sigma all day long, and yep, there you go. You want to go for an ult? I think not. Stunned into it, and he is still going to make it work, but the healing now is going to go through the roof for the New York NYXL, and Meko decides it's his turn to play. Libero takes down Gesture to start off this fight, and Fury gets blown up. 2 quick kills there for the New York NYXL, and the London Spitfire sent packing back to spawn. Nice dragon, bringing him a little bit low, and we could have a res. Yep, a res goes off on Gesture. He's instantly focused down, though. No chance there. And this is the London Spitfire on the back foot.
London only has 2 players alive now, and there is against a whole bunch of NYXL 4v2. Guard has to have the best Hanzo moment of his life. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. That coach just looked just so confident right now.
I want to give Animo so much credit of understanding when he needs to use beat against Flux and when he doesn't, because that Flux didn't get anything done. The stun was really huge to get in early on that Flux, and then once he knows that the Graviton Flux has been used, he just uses beat to win a fight. It's been so nice to watch Animo play this Lucio. It's been very good. And now NYXL on match point. One more round of Ilios, and we're going to the well.
Jonak with the timings, man. I'm really enjoying it right now from New York XL. This feels like ages since we've seen this level of play from them against the top tier of
Yeah.
And so London Spitfire now backs to the wall. Match point for the New York Excelsior in this playoff brought to you by Xfinity bracket.
Need a lot of damage early on. See if Sabiobi's got his hit scan. He's had to play a lot of different heroes. Might be a little rusty.
This should be ingrained in you as a hit scan player. Heads, and you get to click on them.
You don't even really have to kill the Fair Mercy. You just got to put enough pressure on him that the rest of your team gets space. Yes. Early kill, though.
That's not going to help things with Jonak out of the picture. That's a lot of healing gone. And yes, this is the London Spitfire fighting back. They are going to be able to pick up first control here on the murder well. And well, oh, Prophet playing with fire. You're taking a fight one-on-one with the one guy who can actually drop you.
It's not really one-on-one, though, when you have a Mercy in your pocket.
That's true.
You get a damage boosted rocket in there, and they're just deleted. And you don't have to really worry about taking chip damage, because you got the pocket. Really good positioning up top here from Guard.
Whoa! Halt in! Perfect! Gesture gone, and now you get to camp that body. There, you're not bringing Gesture back in this. He's going to have a long run back into the fight. And now New York XL with the key man advantage. Guard gone, and that's the New York XL barreling through.
They flip it over, trying to put some percent back. A nice halt, and they will get a stagger kill onto it. Might even get this Mercy. Get the Mercy!
Yeah, nicely done. Some orb damage as well, just building up on that Coalescence. No worries here for Jonak. He is perfectly fine and dandy.
London has all the tools to come back into this. They will have Nano Boost, they will have Valkyrie, they have Barrage. It's just trying to set those up. The Deadeye's just going to zone out. Yep. London for a moment. Can't show your face. Lock on. Get deleted.
Yeah, Shant goes in, and now he's trying to back off. SBB, does he make it back in time? It looks like it. Jonak is there to keep him up. 5 ults online, though, for London Spitfire. You're right, Hexus is looking pretty good for them to take this point back. Lest New York XL come up with some magical plays. Always possible, obviously, with the caliber of play on the New York XL. But let's see. Flux is thrown in. Misses. Whiffed completely from Gesture. Guard makes up for it with a kill on SBB. That's unfortunate. We've got everything getting thrown in here by London. In fact, Prophet's got the barrage. He's going to throw that into. Why not? 2 kills there. Jonak evens it up with a kill on him, but it is still the London Spitfire with the man advantage on the point, and they will eventually win out, but they pretty much had to use everything in order to do it.
Yeah, that's the silver lining here for the NYXL. I think they knew they were going to lose that fight if they were tracking ultimates at all. They knew that they were just really behind it, so the best case scenario is let London over-invest ultimates in a fight. Unfortunately for NYXL, they had to use Animo's sound barrier. Libero used ult as well. It's not the most impactful usually. It's usually an escape mechanism a lot of times unless you get a great halt combo. But NYXL looks to be barreling back in while London takes the lead on this map.
And this is something we see very often here with the Doomfist. Yep, surprise fist to the face, and he gets stunned. Meteor strike though, the focus fire just a little off. But there are still 2 kills coming through here for the New York XL. Nice bionade onto SBB and Libero, going to force them to play honest for an instant. But the London Spitfire, sure you take down Libero, but I don't know. Gesture decided to go for the Hail Mary. He's getting in here.
They probably just want more time. It's one of the more difficult points to be able to completely take back over just based on its area.
Oh, this is super solid. Yeah, it is going to be an opportunity here for London. Oh, Gesture can't quite sneak away. Animo, murderous assassin that he is, hunts him. And this is going to be the flip now for the New York XL, but they got it up to 90% with that stall, London.
Animo has 5 final blows. the same as both Guard and Prophet on the other side. Animo's going after it.
Okay, then. This is, to quote a magnificent commentator, Animo putting on a bloodthirsty sport show. Now, what is going on here?
It's last fight territory. Next fight probably wins this stage.
This is match point for the New York XL. This is it. So, Jonak has already had to shift out, so he's going to be vulnerable. There's a chance here. Yep, there's the boost. Nice deletion of some of that damage from Meko, trying to cover his team. It still doesn't save SBB, but then Animo comes through with the kill on Doshin, and Libero sets it up as well. Too quick, we're trading back and forth, but now it's going to be Meko making the difference, and Fury's going to get beamed down in his own right. He is not going to survive, and the New York XL looking like they've done it. Hex, they will win versus the London Spitfire 4-1 in this playoff match. London Spitfire, the 2018 defending champions, getting sent into the lower bracket in a brutal fashion.
I'm a little bit stunned. I thought London was going to play that a little bit closer. In fact, a lot of people had London winning this one, but it just goes to show you a patch can change nearly anything. We hadn't seen NYXL come on it. They brought some really interesting strategies. My overall takeaway, NYXL looked prepared. Yes. And that was something that they haven't always looked like throughout the regular season, throughout last year's playoffs. NYXL looked well coached. They looked prepped.
Is this the level that we can expect to see? When you get that extra week preparation, you get to see your opponents play last week.
Yeah.
This is the big difference with the seeding and the teams that got to go straight top 6 into the playoffs and the others that had to battle it out. It means there was more information available for New York XL. They knew what London were capable of. They got prepped for it, and it all, like, Prophet, that's how shocked he was playing against them. He couldn't even believe how well New York XL played today.
There's something to be said about film study and just looking at game tape, and you're right, that's one of the big advantages of getting a higher seed. And no one put down more tape than the London Spitfire. London they went to 8 maps against Shanghai. How many more maps do you even want to study? That's the entire map pool. So New York had every kind of notion what London was going to run. They had good map picks. I think bringing them to Ilios was kind of a no-brainer, but still a smart move, so to speak. And yeah, NYXL, they came to play.
Yeah, exciting, and I'm glad this is exactly that kind of situation right now, where as a commentator, you've been kind of running a little bit over New York XL roughshod, a little bit frustrated with them. Today they showed up, today they proved me wrong. First to say it, fantastic to see New York XL. I mean, they played at the level that we really all hope to see from them all season long, and now going into the playoffs when it matters most, super exciting. But now it is time for our victory moment, presented by Coca-Cola.
Similar Hex, thank you very much, everybody. Give it up for Captain Sebelby and NYXL.